Are you
Oh,
in or out on
okay.
NFL on snow games for an NFL playoff games? Context. Jake Rickman tweeted this yesterday during 5:45 yesterday during the AFC title game. I love snow football. We all do. It's the best, except for when deciding a trip to the Super Bowl. I'm for retractable roof style stadiums.
That I can't sum it up anymore. I love snow football. We all do. It's fun to watch. And for the regular season, it's great. And maybe even the first round of the playoffs. But to truly crown the champion of an entire conference, the final quarter of the most important game of the season was limited to 8 possessions of nothingness. I mean, it wasn't a defensive struggle, it wasn't an offensive struggle, it wasn't a special team. It was nothingness because
Now it was
of
special
the
team
element.
struggles.
That was special team struggles.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is all 3 phases were rendered useless. Like that, you can't say the special teams had the disadvantage, the offense had the disadvantage, everybody had the disadvantage. There was a nothingness to that game in the final quarter that was a 1-possession game to decide who goes to the Super Bowl because of the elements. And that's, again, it's not to say I'm anti-snow games. I'm not anti-elements. They're just, in today's 2026 technology, there's a way to have both, and it's a retractable roof. And I'm not saying, you have to mandate it, but in a time where a ticket to the Super Bowl was punched, it wasn't because one team was better than the other. It's just the clock ran out. And you look at the last quarter, it was 8 possessions of both teams of nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, well, I would agree with you. Then that's why it's called home field advantage.
But
the
it wasn't
person who
advantage
has
for
the home field advantage right now is
Yeah,
Duncan
no,
Dad
you're
in
not,
snow.
because if
It
Denver,
wasn't a home field advantage, though. It was there's no way to look at that game and say it was anything other than nothingness in the final fourth quarter because nothing happened.
I agree with you with that, but I mean the nothingness could also be the fact that they, a backup quarterback who hadn't taken a snap all year was also quarterbacking for a team. So therefore, I agree with you and I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you that they got to put a retractable roof unless, because no, that's not the point. That's why Buffalo didn't do that. They're not trying to make the game, even for both teams. That's why you play 17 games and you win in the postseason to get a home field advantage. And I mean, even though both teams should be able to play in the element, it wasn't a problem. I can't be upset with the game like this. And then Green Bay and Chicago, they were putting up points left and right in bad weather. So that was just those 2 teams.
Yeah, no,
What I will say,
that's a fair rebuttal. Absolutely, like I think that's good dialogue. But what I would say to that, then how did we determine who the best team in the AFC was to represent?
we will never, Jake. We would never. Once Bo Nix got hurt, we were never going to determine who the best team in the AFC is because
No, not
one team.
necessarily. The Broncos had a chance to win that game. They absolutely did.
Right,
It
but
was a 1-possession game. They could have won that game.
Somebody could make the argument that if the Broncos did have their starting quarterback, they probably would have won the game and probably would have won the game handily. We won't know because Knicks didn't play. What I'm going to say is they were moving the ball and both teams were missing kicks. So if they hit the kicks, nobody would be saying, "Oh, the elements messed up," because it would be a 15-12 game or something to that effect. Guys, the elements messed up, but that's what it is for the kickers. They got to kick it. They got to make the field goal. So what I would say, I hate when they say this is football weather.
Yeah.
When the snow comes out, I hate that. It's not because it's cold and stuff like that. That's not football weather. Because when it's 75 degrees, nobody's saying that's football weather as well, even though that is great football weather.
That is great football weather. I always say if anything above 75 and up, you're good anyways.
But that's the only thing I would say about the elements. I would agree with you, but then when you think about it, that Philadelphia Rams game last year, that was bad elements, and that was one of the best playoff games last season.
And that game was not even snowing before until the post third quarter anyway.
And that was snowing from the first. I mean, that game had elements from the beginning, from kickoff. This game only the snow kicked in late in the third, early fourth quarter?
Late in the third quarter anyways, into the fourth quarter.
And I'm not stopping the game for 20 minutes, depending on the momentum, just to put a roof over that. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl when the blackout happened. Ravens were killing the Niners. Then the blackout happens. Niners come back and have a chance to win the game. that could slow down somebody's momentum and give a team a chance to recharge.
You don't have to stop the game. The roof is closing over top. It's not going to affect anybody.
That's Milwaukee then. That's what Milwaukee tried to do once on the Cubs anyway. So it's starting to it's about like, oh, it's going to rain. Let's close the weather.
You
close
just
the roof.
press the button. It's 2026 technology.
Speaking of a man who was in the snow, who was kind of late anyways, Duncan Dad, how you doing? How much shoveling did you do anyways? Did you not throw out your back?
No, lift with your legs, not with your back.
Smart.
The credo. As you get older, you get smarter as well, and you take your time, piece by piece, little by little, and more hands helping to move the snow was easier. So that's what we did.
Are you in or out on snow NFL playoff games, by the way?
I listened to both sides of that argument, and I think they both have a valid bit of weight. Elements can definitely skew the outcome of a game based on the type of team. If you're built around speed, if you're built around defense, if you're built around power, obviously, different playing fields, affect that. But to Vlad's point, you play all year for home field advantage. So, right, this is, you're used to where you're playing at. Like Denver, say there's no weather whatsoever. You're still in the altitude. So you still have to adjust to being up there. Just like when Philly had to go down to Tampa, you're trying to adjust to that. You can't recreate that kind of humidity in the Northeast. You just can't do it. So that's the advantage of having that home field and playing for that and winning for that. Now, does it kind of stink that it all happened due to the fact that they lost week 1 to the Raiders? Yeah, maybe. But you're probably playing in somewhat the same elements in New England as you are in Denver. I think more so in this instance, you did have a lack of complete roster for Denver. Would it have made a difference? I don't know. But you would like to think probably just managing the game a little bit more. There were some throws, some plays where, Stidham looked a little bit, shell-shocked for a minute or two. But we're getting up these questions coming up next, and you talk about some of the play calling, have an opportunity to go up 2 scores, not, missing. Like, those are big plays. This is the playoffs. Like, you're playing for the AFC Championship. If anytime you hear Parcells screaming, take the points, just take the points, take the points, take the points.
And Duncan Dow, what's crazy that you said Parcells? Where did Peyton come from?
Yep, Parcells.
And he didn't.
And Fossil too.
Yep, and Fossil too.
And Parcells would be the one. And he don't. Here's the thing that people have that have it confused about Parcells. Parcells, depending on the roster and the team he has, he would go for it on 4th down. Mm-hmm. But knowing the game, he feels the vibe of the game. Points a premium. Your defense is doing a great job. Take the 3. Now,
that second Super Bowl with Hostetler against the Bills, that's exactly what he did. He knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. He knew it was going to be crappy weather. He's like, points at a premium.
Take the points.
And he did that against the Niners with Hostetler. They just scored 5 field goals. Like, they just, they weren't going to be able to get the ball in the end zone, but they were able to move the ball to score 15 points. It was all on Matt. Was it one of the Barr brothers? 5.
Yeah, Mark Bavaro.
5 field goals. So yeah,
and Barr. Yeah, Matt Barr. Yep.
All right. I'm in on snow games. I think they're fun and they're watching. You play for home field advantage. You have to deal with the elements. That's just